Alright, in this video I'm going to go over the client accounts inside of WootText. There are two types of accounts here. We have obviously the admin account automatically gets an account inside of the WootText system. That's accessed by just clicking on the logo here. It's also the first thing you see when you log in. Clients reach the system in two different ways. Number one, if they pay their monthly payment from a payment button that you've set up in your settings and inside of your payment packages, those will automatically be added. The other way is manually. If you manually add a customer in here, this is how you do it. You click on the plus button, and just like shown in the previous video for settings, we have the tracking ID. If you can put your own customer ID, however you want to do here, you can also leave it blank. You want to put the email of the client in the email. Now this email should never ever be the same email used for another client. We have some people that are using email1@email.com, just fake emails. If you do that, that's fine. Just make sure that they're all different, because once you create the same email, the system won't let you create the package. So you're going to go through this entire process, and it's going to be wasted at the end because the email is already existed in the system. So you're going to do it all over again. So just be aware. Just put the real email. Next, you want to create the password for the user. You might want to get that from them or create it for them. I'm going to go ahead and do this. My first name, Smith, and then the username. It could be anything in particular that you want it to be. And then you definitely want to have their company name here. This is very important. If you don't have their company in here, when it comes to compliance emails for the short code, the SMS will never be sent. So the customer will text in a keyword and it will not go out. You have to have, for compliance reasons for the short code, always have a company name. Otherwise, if you're using a long code, you should still have this company name filled in. So always make sure you do this by default. Next, put in the address. You want to put as much information as possible. Choose their country, put in their phone number. This is just information for you or your assistant to have that they can access at any time. So all that data is going to be saved into the WootText system. Next is the trigger URL. Anytime an SMS is received by the system, you could trigger a URL. We can get into that more when we get into the actual client-side training on how to use the triggers. So you can leave that blank on setup of the account. Next, you want to alert the client when their credits reach a certain amount. This will send an auto email from the settings emails that we did training earlier. So when this reaches 100 credits, we alert the customer that they might need to log in their account and add more credits, because they might be using more than their package allows them to. Next, we want to alert them via email and text. So with that said, it might be a good idea to put an SMS number in here without any dashes, and you want to have their country code in the front as well. So we're going to alert by email and text, and that'll send out the pre-formatted emails that we set up inside of our email settings, and it will also send an automatic text saying that your account is low. So on the fly, they'll always be notified when their account is at risk of being deactivated on the fly. Next, choose a time zone for the client. This is very important. If you don't do this, the scheduler will not work. So always set the time zone. Next, we're going to get into packages here on a different tutorial, but they have to have a package assigned to them. But I'm just going to assign it to the admin package, and it's very important to have a package start date and end date. If you're manually creating the client in here, you have to do this. If they're automatically paying you, the system reports a payment automatically, extends them out for another month. But if this data ever expires or doesn't exist, what happens is when it reaches the expiration date, the SMS is going to stop working, because it's assuming that the system is done doing business with that particular customer. So always make sure the package start date and end date are set appropriately. So I'm going to send this to December 31st of 2015. Now, I should put a note to myself here. Make sure on the 31st of December, that I need to change all the manual accounts that I did to extend them out another year. So always be aware of that. Next, we want to determine if it's a system generated account or existing sub account. If it's an existing sub account inside of your Twilio, you're going to put their SID and their token in here. Otherwise, the system is going to generate a phone number for them automatically inside of this system. So if you were going to do a system generated, you could do assign that number to a particular sub account. Otherwise, just leave that unchecked, and we can assign a number that's in one of our accounts. So let's say that we want to create a brand new number that matches the area code of where the person lives. In that case, jump into numbers here real quick, and there's another tutorial on how to do this in numbers. You're going to buy a number, choose your state, phone number, and then buy it. It's going to add it to the admin. Now, when you do that, it'll automatically appear on the assigned number. So you should do the numbers first. Buy your numbers first, and then come in here, and then you can assign that phone number. Now, this number here, since I just created the system, is already attached to my admin. I don't ever want to assign the admin phone number to a client. But for the sake of argument here, I'm just going to leave this blank, click on Save. And now I've created the account. So once you've created accounts in here, come in here and click on Edit. You'll see here there's no number assigned, but we wanted to assign a number initially when we created our numbers, and then we created the account, then assign the number. I didn't want to assign my admin number because it would make my admin stop working. You don't want to do that. So generally when you come in here after assigning that number, it's going to say the phone number that was assigned to that. Next, we have our billing cycle in months. If they're paying you manually, just indicate it here. Otherwise, if it's a button created inside of the system, it's automatically going to put all this information in there. If you don't want to have this user access to the short code in the United States, just click on this and it'll automatically disable it for them. Another option here is you can create a salesman account inside of WootText, and when you create those other accounts that salesman manages, he'll be able to have an area in his system where he can manage all the other clients. So to do that, we just select the master salesman account, and automatically when he logs into his system, he'll have access to all the systems that he manages. So always assign the email of the salesman that you want to manage the account. To delete a customer anytime, just come in here and click on the delete button. To automatically log in as a customer, just come into this client's account page, click on this icon here, and you'll automatically be logged into their account. And you'll see here, this is Joe Smith, and we see all his details, what he's been assigned, his SMS credits left, and all that good stuff. Now, keep in mind, based on the package that you've created, doesn't mean it's automatically going to assign the credits. It's only going to assign the credits automatically if they buy from a purchase button. If you're doing it manually, you're going to have to get them going on the credits. So you're going to come in here, you're going to go to credits, you're going to choose the client, Joe Smith. Let's give him some SMS credits, and we want to usually match this to what our package is. So I'll give him 1,000 credits here. I'll give him 10 long code credits here. This way they can start using their account right away. So back to client accounts. Now there'll be instances where you might have hundreds of clients in your system, and it might be hard to find just by doing the pagination here, because I think it'll list based on your records per page here how many clients. So if to find your clients a little bit easier, just type in the client's name, it'll automatically find everybody named Joe, and it'll be easier to find that account. To deactivate any account, just simply expire their package to the date before today. So if today was the 8th or the 19th, you're going to want to expire that on the 18th, and then once they try to run a campaign or someone texts in, their account's going to fail because you've automatically banned them. This concludes the training on creating and managing client accounts.